Hello and welcome to my second video for my Doctor Who story arcs. And today we will be looking at the season 2 story arc that was called Torchwood. So just like in season 1, Torchwood was a word that kept on reappearing throughout the season. But the very first time it was mentioned, it was way back in season 1, episode 12, Bad Wolf, during the weakest link game part of Bad Wolf, when the android said, wrong, it was Torchwood. But we never really thought about it. We just thought, random word, probably not important. But then in the Christmas special, we found out Torchwood was a threat to be taken. But before I go into details of the story, I just want to say I'm not going to talk about the spin-off, the Torchwood, that came out of this story arc. I am not like Torchwood is a good show. I have seen season 3. I've seen season 4 too. Didn't really like season 4, but I'm going to talk about the story arc for season 2, Torchwood, and that's about it. So the very first time we found out Torchwood was very important was in the 2005 Christmas special, David Tennant's first episode, The Christmas Invasion, when a species called the cigarettes invaded Earth, and they were leaving in peace after the leader was killed. But the Prime Minister at the time, Harriet Jones, told Torchwood Institute to destroy the ship. This is where we found out Torchwood was a threat to be reckoned with. Like, they fired this almighty powerful weapon at the cigarette ship and destroyed it right there, right then. But the Doctor didn't know Torchwood existed at this point. He just thought it was like unit founder's ship, or this weapon, or whatever was used to construct this weapon. So we didn't really hear anything about Torchwood in the first episode of season 2, but in the second episode of season 2, Tooth and Claw, which was when we found a bit of Torchwood's origins. This episode took place in Queen Victoria's rule of England. We found out there was this place called the Torchwood House in Scotland, where the Doctor and Rose were battling a werewolf. After this, Queen Victoria knighted the Doctor as Doctor of Sir Tardis, then banished him to never return. But joke's on her. He's a time traveler. He can come back whenever he wants. But we found out after the Doctor and Rose left back to the TARDIS to continue their adventure in time and space, Queen Victoria created this institute called Torchwood to investigate the supernatural and alien of the universe. Like, whenever an alien threat or supernatural threat appears somewhere in England, Torchwood would be sent out to fight it and get the technology and use it to defend England from the alien threat. And they were also looking for the Doctor, who would return one day because they knew he would arrive back. But they didn't know about regeneration. They were only looking for the 10th Doctor. So as we continue down the series, we heard Torchwood in episode 3, when Mickey was looking through some reports on an alien spaceship that was in England. And then we heard it again in Rise of the Cybermen. It was on the news. You saw Torchwood in letters on the news. Then we heard it again throughout more of the episodes. The Satan Pit, it was mentioned. Fair Hair, it was mentioned. Idiot's Lantern. But we never really found out a lot about them. Like, we know they've been stealing alien technology. They've been looking for the Doctor. They have records of him. But what we really didn't know, what were they like in modern day? We know they had taken alien technology. Like, Russell T Davies set up Torchwood in a different way from Bad Wolf. He showed the origins of Torchwood first. he made them like a sort of unit of the early 1900s and late 1800s. Like he created this institute to not work with the Doctor, but to find him and take his knowledge. And that was an interesting idea. But the one thing I started to mind a bit from this story, he was just doing the same thing he did in season 1. Like, so they put a word out there and kept on it repeating itself. But one thing about Torchwood was it was an interesting idea, and it was also an anagram for Doctor Who. And it also led to a spin-off called Torchwood with Captain Jack Harkness. But I am not going into much details with that. So let's head back to the season 2. When we get to the two-parter season finale, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, we finally get to see what Torchwood was about. They've been experimenting with alien technology. They open this rift in reality itself that led to the void, which allowed these ghost-like figures to cross over. We didn't know what they were at the beginning of the episode. But when the Doctor arrived at Torchwood after tracing the signal that was coming from Torchwood Tower, which was in Cardiff, we found out something interesting. They wanted the Doctor to find them. They've been waiting for over a century, almost like more than a century of waiting. We found out that they didn't want to kill the Doctor. They wanted to learn from him, but he was their prisoner, which was an interesting idea because they have been stealing technology throughout the years Torchwood's been activating, and they started in the late 1800s to 2006. So they must have had a lot of alien technology that UNIT never even found. And let's not forget about all those invasions from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. There were probably a few technologies that UNIT never found. UNIT probably knew what Torchwood was, just like Torchwood knew what UNIT was. Like, Rusty T. Davis said that the UNIT adventures were taking place as Torchwood was operating at the same time, which was building on the mythology of Doctor Who. That was a nice, clever thing to do. But here's the thing I didn't like about Torchwood. They didn't seem like that, like a big threat. They have been collecting alien technology, experimenting with it, using it to destroy aliens that may or may not be peaceful. Like, they could have destroyed like a lot of peaceful aliens. But then when we see the Doctor's reaction to Torchwood, he's like, you are all idiotic. Using alien technology, using technology that you're not ready for, could lead to this disaster. Like, he shows them that them ripping into the void, the spaces between realities, was causing the Earth to fall into the void. That this entire reality was shattered because of Torchwood, because they didn't know what they were doing. And they led to the most destruction on Earth to date at that time. Like, they were experimenting on the void, on a void ship, the Spear. They didn't know what it was. They ripped the entire Earth. They ripped a hole in reality itself, and the Spear came through. And they were experimenting on it without finding out what it was, which was stupid. Like, alien technology in hands of humans is the worst thing that can happen in Doctor Who, because they don't know what it would do. And another thing I didn't like about Torchwood Institute, that they had a big ego. Like, they think, we know how to save the Earth, Doctor. We've been doing it for centuries. We've been using technology. way beyond us. They had a huge ego. And no wonder why Torchwood was almost destroyed at the end of season 2. Now, let's go back to those ghostly figures I told you about at the beginning of season 2 finale. They turn out to be Cybermen from an alternate reality that the Doctor, Rose, and Mickey went to. They cross over from their reality to this reality, all because of Torchwood. But it doesn't end there. The Void ship opened when the Cybermen fully crossed over, and it was revealed that the Daleks built this machine. And now we had an all-out war between Daleks and Cybermen. Almost all the Torchwood personnel were turned into Cybermen or killed in the battle between Cybermen and Daleks. And the entire world suffered because of the Cybermen invasion and the Daleks. And because of Torchwood, they had a huge ego that led to the downfall. Only 4 members survived of Torchwood after the entire tower went down. Everyone was killed, all but 4 personnel, like I said. And it was all because Torchwood thought they were too powerful to be taken down by anything. Because of their egos, they were defeated. And in the end, the Doctor, because of Torchwood, he lost his companion, Rose, who was trapped in another reality. But the season 2 finale of the story of Torchwood led to the spin-off show called Torchwood, which was led by Captain Jack Harkness, a recurring character who was a companion of the 9th Doctor in season 1, who led a team, the very few people who survived the attack on Torchwood. And the show Torchwood will cross over with Doctor Who in the season 4 finale of Doctor Who. All I'm saying, this story arc wasn't a bad idea. It led to a great thing, the spin-off show. But to me, I didn't really see the threat in Torchwood. Like in the Christmas special, I saw they were powerful, but throughout the season, I didn't see anything like that again. I thought they were just people with big ego, using technology that was way beyond them. They should have just stayed in Scotland. But still, it was an okay story arc. I wouldn't say it was one of the best. Like season 2 isn't one of my favorite seasons. Like it has some great episodes, like the 2-parter Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, which are two of my favorite stories. And then we had Age of Steel and Rise of the Cybermen, which are another great 2-parter. But this story arc, the season finale, didn't really lead to much. It was just a bit of a letdown. Like I was expecting this giant threat at the end of the season, but it just seemed like another unit. Overall, those are my thoughts for the season 2 story arc, Torchwood. I am the Dynamic Dover, and next time we will be looking at the season 3 story arcs, Mr. Saxon. Till next time.